The thing that's most important for people to understand when you're dealing with agricultural commodities, as opposed to energy ones, is that timing is just everything. I mean, say you're talking about the Brazil coffee crop, the next 2 months are going to be crucial because rainfall after a drought like and the frost events that they've suffered from, it's going to be critical for rainfall timing. And it's also, we can have one rain event come in there, and if you don't follow it up within 2 to 3 weeks with an additional rain event, you lose that bloom too. So there are so many complicating factors when you're dealing with an agricultural crop. It's one thing to know what the rain forecast is going forward, but also to know what the impact is on the crop at any given time. So because it's so time sensitive. The models really struggle with distinct rainy seasons. So they have a certain amount of climatology built into them. So these models know that the rainy season is about to get underway. So that's part of their forecast, bias, is that they're expecting this upturn in shower activity. So there's a little bit of problem from that standpoint, that you have to be a little careful about reading too much into a rain forecast when you're getting into the beginning of the rainy season. So that's the one thing that we're dealing with here. But the other thing that we're dealing with right now is there are some factors in both the Indian and Pacific Ocean drivers that are favoring a drier than normal September. Now, that doesn't mean that you won't have rains. And I do think, there is the prospect of some shower activity there in the next, in the 6 to 10 day period. But it does worry me that if we are truly in a drier biased September, that you could run into that problem where it's a one-off rain event and then you slip back into a drier situation. And what's even more problematic perhaps this year is that the crop, has so many strikes against it already, and you're coming off of a pretty decent drought situation as well. One of the things that I'm concerned about specifically in Brazil, and worldwide, there's definitely things that are changing climate-wise. But in Brazil, over the last 15 years, we've seen such a downturn in rainfall activity. I was just reading an article today about how the surface area of water in Brazil has shrunk by 70%. And I don't know that I believe that. I just saw that article today, so I don't want to spread rumors, but I do know that it is amazingly, the last 15 years have been so biased to the drier side, especially during the early part of the rainy season and then the end of the rainy season, which just tells me that we're shortening that window for the crops to develop in that area. Now granted, it probably has more impact on corn, which they try to do 2 crops, than perhaps on coffee, but at the same time it still is worrisome. We've tried to look at this for the potential causes. And one of them that we are concerned about is deforestation of the Amazon basin may certainly be playing a role in this. So there's definitely some concern that, this isn't just, an occasional dry spell that we're going to be dealing with. This is going to be more of a concern going forward.